Okay. So normally I would say, oh, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Fan Fridays with your host Amans and Reality Recaps, but this isn't Friday, and actually I'm not really sure when this video will be released, but what I can say is that I'm here to wrap up Big Brother 19, and all of its craziness, and even crazier ending, and let's just get into it. So I've had a week. I've had 1 week to decompress and to examine the ending of this season with a bit of perspective, given the time, and I'm still shook. I'm still like, I can't believe this. Well, actually, that's a lie. I can believe it. We all know how this happened. We know how this happened. We weren't entirely sure if it would happen. We were hoping, some of us were hoping that it would happen, some of us were hoping that it wouldn't, but it happened. So first came the spoilers about Paul winning the first part of the HOH competition. Whoopsie-doo, we kind of all saw that coming. And then came the news that Josh won the second. So everyone's biting their nails because it's like, oh my goodness, the last part of the HOH is a bit of a crapshoot, you know? It asks you to think about which phrase one of the former house guests would have said, and that's not particularly easy. I mean, I know that I probably wouldn't have done well because I did it alongside them when they were doing it live, and I got maybe like 3 out of those 9 questions right, so my ass would have lost. I would have lost. But we get down to it, and at the end of the comp, Josh comes out victorious. Paul's scale raises up, Josh's raises down, and he is the final HOH of the season, which means he's won now, what, 3 HOHs? Yeah, because he had that one where he had to hit the ball, then he had the second one, and 3 HOHs. So go Josh. Good for him. So, like, Twitter was a Twitter, okay? It was like, is he going to be Ian? Is he going to be Cody? Which one is he going to be? How is this going to end? This crap show of a season. What's going to happen? We're all on the edge of our seats to see what he's going to do. Because, you know, the entire week leading up to it, well, pretty much for a while, Josh had been saying to the theaters, hey, you know, I know that I gotta take out Paul. I know that I gotta take the shot. I know that I'm probably gonna have a hard time beating him. So it's probably within my interest to get him out of this game if I ever get the opportunity to. And then about a week, during the last week of feeds, we see Paul and Josh have this conversation where essentially Paul is telling Josh, you know, there's no way that we can beat Christmas, right? He makes it a we thing, okay? He uses that term, we, to make it seem like he has both of their best interests at heart, when all we know, like, we know that Paul is only concerned about himself. But he tells Josh, hey, like, she's gonna beat us. We have to take each other. This is the plan. This is the foolproof plan. This is how you win Big Brother. Congratulations on making Final 2. That's a great achievement in Big Brother. It was all in his mind. So we don't know what's gonna happen, right? Like, we spent an entire week listening to him talk about taking Paul out. Then we spent an entire week listening to him talk about getting Christmas out. So it seemed very live and very in the moment when Julie asked him, make your decision to evict. And then he makes the decision to eliminate Christmas, and you can just see the wave of relief. You can see Paul's beard follicles relaxing as he realizes that he made it to the final 2 years in a row. But there's one other thing that we learned in the last week of feeds, okay? And shout out to Hamster Watch for always, you know, being very meticulous about the things that she posts on Twitter, making sure that her spoilers are actually something that we can hold with merit. We found out that the jury was bitter, like with a capital bitter, okay? We found out that Alex may not have been so truthful when she told Paul that she would campaign to get everyone to vote for Paul. Like, we found out that Jason is just, his ass is burning, and we found out that Maven are the only ones that seem like they are going to throw their votes for Paul. And I'm still pissed off about that, like, that they let Maven, of all people, be the voice of reason in that jury. Like, come on, like, how can you make Raven look better than you? Come on. So this ought to say that I still had a sliver of hope. Like, I think it's fair to say that I was at a 90% chance of Josh winning Big Brother 19 if he had taken Christmas to the final 2, and all that like depleted to like 30% in my mind. But I was like, that's still a strong 30%, okay? That bitter jury might come through. So Christmas leaves. And also, we get to the jury segment. And the rumors were right. Okay? The rumors were right. They were very, very bitter. Jason is like, full on, we cannot give our votes to Paul. Once again, Maven, they are the ones that are like, that's the game. We were the masterminds the entire time. Mark isn't having any of it. Like, he's like, I don't understand how you guys can be so proud of the game that you played. How can you guys be puppet masters and be out of the house so early? It doesn't make any sense. And like, all of America is behind Mark at this point. And so it seemed like, you know, Paul might not be getting as many votes as we thought that he was. But the one vote that was still in question was Cody's, you know, because we'd heard Cody say if Paul makes it to Final 2, he would give him his vote. And we also have heard him talk so much shit about Paul in that he's so sick of all of the advantages that he got, and it made him mad. But Dr. Well did make a point in that you also benefited from a twist in the game. So can you really be all that upset with Paul for capitalizing on the twist as well? Okay, so we get down to the jury questions segment of the show. And, you know, I'm not going to spend too much time repeating what's already been said, and Josh killed that part, okay? All we wanted Paul to do was own his game. Own it. All the lying, all the backstabbing, all the scheming, all the HOHs that you ran, because you're right. You're right, Paul. You ran the season. Now, all you have to do is tell us how you did it and not be, you know, so apologetic about it. Claim that shit. Own it. Stand in it. Firmly. Come on. But you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it. And it made you look like a petulant child. It made you look so butthurt that you just you couldn't admit fault. You still had to be the good guy here. You still expected people to give you the money after basically telling them that you had no hand in them going home. So if you did everything, but don't take ownership of all the things that you did, I mean, that's even worse than doing nothing. So, I love the fact that we actually got a chance to hear the pre-jurors this time, because last season they really did them all dirty. We didn't get a chance to hear Bronte or Jose or Tiffany. I mean, not that I'm too excited to hear anything from those people, but usually they have them, you know, have their little moment. And this year we got it. We got it with Cameron and we got it with Jessica, both of which dragged these house guests to pits, okay? To the Big Brother pits. Cameron's out here like I'm a big fan of this show. I've always wanted to be on it, and I feel like all of you squandered your opportunity. Jess is out here saying, like, I told you guys that Paul was gonna do this. I told you at my eviction that all of you guys would be idiots if you didn't get rid of him now, and look where you are at. So if you were gonna come into the Big Brother house with that kind of mentality and that you were just gonna follow one person around, then why are you even there? And my heart just like, I was like, yes, let them have it. Speak on it, preach. And Julie even steps in on the dragging, and I was like, oh, okay, girl. And she gives them this edited footage of pretty much all the house guests talking about how much they trust Paul, including the guy that's sitting next to him in Final 2. Basically letting them see themselves for what they really were, just a bunch of puppets popping Paul pills all summer long. And fortunately enough, this was after the voting happened. So you couldn't really blame the aftermath on them seeing that footage. But seems like that wouldn't really had so much of a influence anyway. We get down to the speeches, and this is where Paul did come out on top. Paul pretty much contradicted everything that he said in his answers to the jury's questions in his final speech. Trying to take ownership of all of the things that he'd done, laying out his resume. And here's the thing with practicing your speeches over and over again, like, and I know that I've never played Big Brother, so the advice coming from me really doesn't have a lot of weight, because I'm only a spectator like many of you, but I do think that there's something to be said about putting things in your mind, like rehearsing them to a T. There's no heart in it after that. It just sounded like he was reading off a list of receipts, giving his resume, like, and that was it. That was it. So even after you took ownership of all the things that you've done in the game, it just seemed like you were checking off boxes, you know? And whereas Josh, you know, he kind of messed up here and there. He had a moment where he couldn't get all of his words right, and he had to stop speaking for a while. And Paul still did encourage him, which I did like to see after Paul pretty much called him a coward for revealing all of his lies and the goodbye messages. But I did like to see that. And I would say that Paul, even though his speech was a little dry, he did come out on top. So they all vote. And then it's time for Julie to reveal the votes, and she starts backwards yet again. I think ever since Big Brother 17, she's been starting backwards. I guess someone can fact check me on that. Christmas votes for Paul. Shocker. Kevin votes for Paul. Raven votes for Paul. Matt votes for Paul. Okay, those are the 4 that he got. And that's when I'm starting to think, okay, well, duh, he's got this thing in the bag. But oh, wait! Mark votes for Josh. Elena votes for Josh. Alex votes for Josh. And Jason votes for Josh. And at that moment, Paul... I can only imagine how that must have felt. Like, you could see it on his face. Cody's is the last to be read. And you know what? I got a bone to pick because we've been telling CBS that we want to see the Key World come back, and they only ever bring it for finale. We don't want to see it in finale. We want to see it all the time, okay? But anyway, I digress. Julie pulls the last key out of that box. And it was so cool this time because you could see the name on the key before Julie said it. So, like, there was a split moment that, like, before it's, like, official, we all know who won. And both Paul and Josh have their heads down. And you can just hear Julie say, "Congratulations, Josh. You are the winner of Big Brother." And, oh my God, Josh's face, I almost cried. It was... because you just know how much of a fan of the show that he is, and he's been trying to get on the show, and his family was so proud of him, and you could just see just how much shock and enjoyment and euphoria was on his face. And I mean, I couldn't feel as bad as I felt for Paul. I just had to be like, go Josh. I had to give it to him. So, you know, the jury was indeed bitter. I don't think anybody can contest that. But I do like what Elena said during the finale. I think that there's a lot of truth in that she said to herself, she said, you know, there are such things as bitter jurors, and I am a bitter juror, and I think that when you're playing Big Brother, you have to worry about that. The same way that you were worrying about your social game in the house, you have to worry about it outside of the house as well. How did you make them feel when you evicted them? How did you, like, they want to feel as though they were players in the game. I know that that's kind of rough with this particular cast, but you have to work with what you're given. And you were able to work with what you were given the entire season long, Paul. So the end game was just where you fell short. Just like last year. Was Paul more strategic than Josh? Hell yes. Does that mean that Josh's game was completely devoid of strategy? Hell no. I do think that Josh was able to spin things his way a little better, which was also aided by the fact that Paul wasn't taking ownership of anything. And I think that he was able to, you know, put lipstick on a pig, as they say, in terms of his entire game. But I believe him when he said that he wanted to make sure that everyone else felt in control, and that he was able to, you know, be carried along and win the competitions that he needed to, and aid his alliance. You know, he played a character the entire season. The pots and pans showed it all. But I still feel bad for Paul. I mean, that's hard. You come in the game a second year in a row, you lose the same way, in the same outfit, at the same vote count. Like, god damn. But I think that's probably one of the best finales that we've seen in a very long time. And as much as I wanted Big Brother 19 to be over, I am sort of sad that it's gone now. But we do have Big Brother Celebrity coming to us in the winter, and I'm very excited for that. You know, as well as Survivor 35 starting. So, like, you know, all is not lost in the CBS reality competition world. I want to say a huge thank you to Eric and the rest of the team of Reality Recaps for having me along for this season. It's been a blast getting to talk with everyone. And thank you so much for everyone that watched the videos, commented on the videos, shared the videos. It really means a lot. This has just been such a great experience, and I hope to be able to come back and do it in the future. I will be watching Survivor. I will be watching Big Brother Celebrity, so I'll, you know, If you want to see, you know, all of my thoughts on those shows, you can follow me on Twitter at AmonAdwin. Also, make sure that you follow Reality Recaps. And just, I hope everyone had a great summer. And yeah, I'm sure I'll see you guys soon.